Ba 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 Sharon. She is my fan. Alright. Going to give an early review for Warhammer 40k Rogue Trader, since I'm currently playing it on stream. I probably run this line into the ground. By the time this video comes out, I will have beaten the game. This game is the only game I've ever played in the 40k series, but I do know the meme for the Emperor. But I decided not to go full meme in my stream playthrough. Remember when this game came out? Because I saw a new game was released by Owlcat and I debated getting the game. The bad thing was that I didn't want to play a game where I knew there would be a massive fan base. Warhammer probably has one of the biggest. Being a variety streamer, especially one that completes every game that I play, introduces me to a lot of different fan bases. The cult classics can be the worst because people want to come in and tell you the right way to play because they love that game. It sucks because you want to experience a game without help, and you find people that want to spew game facts down your throat without consent. That was a bar. There's a motherfucking bar. It can turn people away from the game, and I get it. You want people to experience your love for the game, but don't backseat the person you're watching unless they ask for help. I also didn't know if the game would be something I would like. I did buy it when I saw it on sale. I went on tour and touched the game a bit, but not enough to get anywhere. I only have 4 hours on my playthrough and easily got past my off-stream playthrough, so I was able to not spoil myself because I chose different paths. I also chose a different class and origin, which was given to me by the recent DLC. So I guess it would be easier to explain the dialogue choices, which represents what path your character will take as they travel through the Expanse. Before I explain things, I have to say that this game is completely different from Wrath of the Righteous, even though there is a good amount of similarities. This is a CRPG that is located in the Warhammer world, so nothing will look similar if you play this thinking that you will be able to play a fantasy character, but Warhammer. Now, my first character, I definitely chose a class that was close to the mage, which, yes, there is a magic-like class in Rogue Trader, but it isn't magic. I'll talk about that once I start talking about my characters, makes them different from each other. Now, there are usually 4 different choices that kind of decide what your alignment is as you progress through this game. Like in Wrath of the Righteous, you will see certain alignment choices and dialogues that will change how you are seen. Unlike Wrath of the Righteous, you only have 3 choices, but truthfully you have 4. The 4th one is kind of more of a neutral, I don't want this to define me kind of choice. The 3 are Ironclastic, Dogmatic, and Heretical. Ironclastic is the saint type of choice, where you'll find your character trying to save everyone if it is possible to even do so. Should you try to save everyone? Well, no. But will you try as long as it doesn't endanger the people? Hell yes. Dogmatic is the big Warhammer meme I talked about earlier. For the Emperor is your creed, and you live and die by it. Your character will choose the choices that are militaristic, and that only the Emperor would approve of, which means you don't really move on your own actions. You can pretty much choose some messed up options that are for the greater good and rule by fear and faith. Not really my first choice in a character, but this works well in this universe. The 3rd one is Heretical, which is direct opposite of the previous option, because you will usually choose a chaotic action, which may seem evil to some. Heretical follows doing things that are borderline heresy. It gets you killed if people find out what you're doing. I said there are 4, but truthfully that is a lie. There's a 5th one. That one is called Following Your Heart and choosing the dialogue option you agree with the most. All that means is that you don't have to pick just one type of choice, but that doesn't mean you can continue this all the way through. So each choice can level up the more you use it, and you're able to get benefits and abilities once you get to the next level. I believe once you get to 3rd or 4th level, you are locked out of the other choices. I might be wrong, but that's what I remember seeing once I started the game. Because of these choices, you have a ton of replayability in store. Now let's talk about my characters, and then we'll talk about the different classes that we have in the game. So we will talk about my off-stream character first, because that will be the way to ease you in before I start talking about the character I went through a big chunk of the game with. My first character is a Psyker, which is someone that draws power from the Warp. The Warp, which is probably the scariest thing to draw from. The reason I say that is because the more you use your power, more likely diamonds, or daemons, and other beings may decide to rear their head in to see exactly who's knocking on their door. The way I found to use a Psyker is to use your powers a bit. As soon as you get close to Veil Manifestation, stop using it, and then use a gun or melee weapon to get the bar down. The bar goes down naturally, so it's just a waiting game. It is a very interesting way to play around the mage-like class, since you have to pick when to use your powers, or you will start introducing new enemies by not paying attention to the Veil bar. Now, the sad thing about not getting far with this character is that I wasn't able to fully unlock my class. Fully unlocking means getting into my school, so to speak, because like mage-based classes, you have certain schools you'll start specializing in, which will give your class shape. I still don't know which direction I would go, but Pyromancy is always a fun time. But I may make another video once I actually beat this game. Talk about the character I'm currently playing with, which is a DLC class, which is a Blade Dancer, which is pretty on brand for the class. It excels like closing the gap and attacking enemies near you multiple times and doing devastating damage. You trade safety for high damage and a pretty high dodge depending on how you love your character. Best way to play this class, which is how I played this class, is to play this as an assassin and try to kill all the targets that do range damage, and then once you are done, then help out the tank with the targets that are focused on them. I tend to play my character as a peel to kill the enemies that try to get to my snipers. My current party currently has 4 ranged fighters and 2 far range, and 2 of the 4 are tanks that are on my front line that make sure that they are priority targets, while my Blade Dancer can slice and dice all that he can, and then return to the rest of the team. Okay, so let's talk about character creation, because this isn't a normal game where you select race and then class. You have to select the home world, which can enhance your character's class. Do I do this? Like, do you want me to do it? I'll like, okay, it's gonna be off the cuff. I'm just gonna make a weird character. I think this is what I chose for my, no, this is what I chose for my, like, new character. My current character, my Blade Dancer. This is what I chose for my, my Psyker. Let's go, because I'm gonna make it like I'm making a, let's do that. It's gonna, so the best part of this game is just gonna go with a character that looks basically the same. Love the bar mark stays. They also look ugly as hell. That nose is gotta go. Also, again, you're not gonna see this at all, so it doesn't really matter. Like, you're gonna see this, you're gonna see this portrait a lot. You'll see like a close up, and nothing really matters at the end of the day. I think this is my current haircut with my other one. It's atrocious. Okay, we're not gonna really do a lot. Again, this is not being saved, which is why I don't really care. Very cool. Alright, so let's just do that. Oh, okay. Alright. You're given 6 different homeworlds to select, which are Death World, Voidborn, Hive World, Forge World, Imperial World, and Fortress World. On Death Worlds, the plants, beasts, and sometimes even the environment itself takes aggressive and destructive forms, miscible to human life. While it's exceptionally difficult to colonize, many Death Worlds possess valuable resources that require an outpost, and other outposts or other human presence upon the planet's surface to harbor. These harsh environments result in some of the hardiest and most resilient populations in the galaxy, those tested and found wanting to die young. Main benefits of this world is that it gives you a +5 in strength, toughness, and agility, and you get a -5 in intelligence and fellowship. You also get a feature exclusive to the world, which is Survival Instinct. Once more combat, when the wounds of a Death World character drops below 30, they gain +20% of their max wounds as temporary wounds. Death World characters also gain a +20 bonus to dodge and armor, while they have at least 1 temporary wound from any source. Voidborn. Voidborn are humans birthed in the belly of a void vessel, aboard an ancient orbital satellite. Those who have lived their lives on void ships become inured to some extent due to a reality-altering process of warp travel, and to living in low or zero gravity environments. In many cases, their features are drawn and their skin pallid, and they may even have minor deformities or strangers to their speech, gait, or general appearance that sets them apart from others. We're bringing a +5 in willpower and intelligence, with a -5 in strength, and is the one I chose for my Psyker character. You have the feature exclusive to this world, Fortune. Voidborn character can reroll any failed attack, dodge, parry, characteristics, or skill test for a 20% chance of success. This chance can't be greater than the base success chance of the roll. Additionally, any enemy dodge or parry against a Voidborn character has a 20% chance to fail after a successful roll. Hive World. A Hive World's population is so dense that great swaths of the surface of the world are frequently covered in gargantuan cities, bejeweled with towering spires that pierce the atmosphere. Hive worlds are vital to the welfare of the Imperium, are the beating heart of its economy and war machine. They produce munitions for the Emperor's armies and vast manufactories, mine valuable minerals, and refine refuel for the Imperial army. Innumerable regiments of the Astra Militarum are raised from their massive populations as well. You have Hive World, and the benefits are a +5 in fellowship and agility, but a -5 in willpower is the one I chose for my Blade Dancer. The world exclusive feature is strength in numbers. The world exclusive feature is strength in numbers. Hive World characters gain +1 plus fellowship bonus, is that divided by 2? Resolve if there are 3 or more characters, allies, or enemies in its resale radius. Yet they suffer a -2 penalty to resolve when no creatures are around. Forge World. Forge Worlds are the domain of the Adeptus Machinist. Entire planets see to demands of vast macro industries, each of the manufacturing super complex of unimaginable capacity and power over the millennia, different Forge worlds have become especially renowned for their philosophies or ways of war. These are often colored by the technologies they specialize in manufacturing. The bulk of a Forge world's population is utilized as a labor force, while a fortunate few may be inducted into the ranks of Adeptus Machinus itself. Benesfar are +5 in intelligence and toughness and a -5 in fellowship. The world exclusive feature is Forged for a purpose. Forged world characters choose one augmentation system from the following list. Subskin armor grants a +5+2 times toughness bonus, percentage armor. Locomotion system grants a plus agility bonus, 5/2, MP, and a +2 times agility bonus, percentage dodge. Analytics system grants a +10+ intelligence bonus, percentage critical hit chance. Listen, I haven't done PEMDAS in years, leave me alone. Imperial World. Imperial World is one of the million planets united by the belief in an immortal God Emperor. Hailing from hyper-technological society's grimy feudal population, inhabitants of countless worlds offer fealty and devotion to the masses of humanity in the Imperial Creed espoused by a servant. The destination Imperial World encompasses a vast array of wholly dissimilar worlds that are nevertheless part of the Imperium. There are no additions or subtractions from this world. This world features humanity's finest. Imperial World characters can select any characteristic except for weapon skill or ballistic skill at a +10 bonus. That's actually amazing. Fortress World. Fortress worlds are planets where the entire populace is immersed in warfare. They constantly train for the day that they may be called upon to defend the Imperium, a charge they solemnly uphold. Fortress worlds are established as bulwark against the enemy. Every citizen is a soldier, trained to fight from the moment they can handle a weapon. Units are a +5 in perception and willpower, but a -5 in fellowship. Exclusive world feature is never stop shooting. Each time a Fortress world character kills an enemy, they get a +10 stacks of never stop shooting. At the start of their turn, there is a stacks of never stop shooting percentage chance. The first attack this round will cost 0 AP and will not count towards the attack limit per turn. If the attack triggers, all stacks are lost. That's fucked. Next thing you will have to decide on is your origin, and this will be your class, but also how people remember you before you became a rogue trader. There are a total of 7, which are Astra, Militarium Commander, Commissar, Crime Lord, Ministerium Priest, Navy Officer, Noble, and Sanction Psyker. I chose Crime Lord for my Blade Dancer, and Sanction Psyker for my, Psyker. The Asta Militarium, commonly known as the Imperial Guard, is the primary fighting force in Imperium. The first line of defense from the myriad threats that endanger the existence of humanity, the 41st millennium. You have served as one of the commanders on the Astra Militarium Regiment, commanding thousands and winning battles in the name of the God Emperor. Astra Militarium gets the benefits of a +5 in ballistic skill, perception, athletics, and medicine, whatever. You get the exclusive feature, Regimental Tactics. Your Astra Militarium Commander and all of their allies deal an additional +20, +2 times persuasion bonus, percentage damage to enemies that are adjacent to the commander or their allies until the end of the commander's next turn. All the commander's allies also suffer no damage from allies' attacks until the end of the commander's next turn. It can only be used once per combat. You get more once you do your origin advancement, but that is something that happens while you're playing. Next one is the Commissar. Commissars of the Officio Prefecturus. Rulers officers charged with maintaining the morale, discipline, and fighting spirit of the Astra Militarium Regiment. Used to be one of these faithful servants of the God Emperor, living symbol of Imperial authority, regarded with a mix of fear and awe by his subordinates. And you get a +5 in weapon skill, fellowship, corrosion, and athletic. You get the exclusive feature at all costs. Commissar's next single shot or a single target melee attack applies the following effects. Enemy target, the target becomes marked. The ally who kills the marked enemy gains a extra turn after the current one with +2 AP and +4 MP. Ally target, all allies get an additional +1 AP and +3 MP for 1 round. You only use 1 per combat. Themselves cannot gain bonuses from this ability. Next one is Crime Lord. The Imperium survives and prospers in no small part due to the narrowness of its vision. A rebellious mind and will such as yours could not be so easily constrained. Dark past the smugglers and renegades that wind behind the facade of the Imperium Society offers a danged refuge, those unwilling to bow to the law. You used to be one of those dangerous yet resourceful individuals. And you get a +5 in weapon skill, perception, awareness, and logic. The exclusive feature you get is Surefire Plan. At the start of combat, the Crime Lord gains intelligence bonus stack. Surefire Plan effect, activation ability consumes 1 stack. Its next action stronger depending on the type of action. Crime Lord attacks, they deal +10 plus persuasion bonus, more damage. Lord moves, they gain a +10 persuasion percentage and dodge and parry. So the start of the next turn, as a Crime Lord uses a non-damaging ability on the enemy, the enemy suffers a -10 plus intelligence bonus penalty to the damage for 1 turn. It can be used multiple times per turn. I have not been using this, and I'm fucking up. The next is Ministerium Priest. Noxicracy, known formerly as the Adeptus Ministerium, is a vast institution that oversees a galaxy-spanning religion of the Imperium. The aristocracy complex hierarchies of cardinals, missionaries, preachers, and zealous laity, and so the prescribed prayer invocations are made, all the while instructing the masses to guard against heresy and deviancy. He used to be one of those fiery and charismatic individuals concerned with keeping a close watch on the congregation. You get a +5 in toughness, full power, lore, Imperium, and Metasci. The exclusive feature is War Hymn. Grant momentum equal to 2 times devotee's WP bonus. That is war power. WP is war power. This ability also grants an additional willpower bonus momentum for each enemy that is either in a 5-cell radius around the devotee or was hit by the devotee this turn. Can only be used once per combat. Next one is Navy Officer. The Imperial Navy is responsible for the fleets of void ships that exert the dominance of the Imperium in the stars and fulfill other duties connected to the void and warp travel. He used to be a Navy officer and a commander of the void ship, hardying in numerous battles and famous for resounding victories. And you get a +5 in agility, fellowship, commerce, and demolition. The exclusive feature is Brace for Impact. For 1 round, the Navy officers and their allies in a 3-cell radius gain a +2 deflection for each archetype taken by the Navy officer. They also cannot be forcibly moved or overpenetrated. I'm a child. Next one is Noble. The high nobility of the Imperium are an enormously privileged and powerful elite. Breathe apart from the common masses they rule. You grow into an adulthood upon a pedestal of affluence and grandeur that towered high above the common masses. You expected their obedience and lived upon the fruits of their toils, surrendered to your family in solemn fealty. You get a +5 intelligence, fellowship, coercion, and persuasion. The exclusive feature you get is You Serve Me. Nobles assigns 1 ally who will become their servant till the end of combat. Anytime the noble's abilities affect the servant gains +5 to all characteristics until the start of the noble's next turn. Anytime the servant attacks the target, the noble dealt damage to last turn, regains a +10 plus noble's fellowship bonus, percentage critical hit chance against the target. Can only be used once per combat. Last one we have to choose from is Sanctioned Psyker. Psykers are feared and distrusted, but are nonetheless valuable assets in the Imperium. The role of the Adeptus Astra Telepathica is to recruit, identify, and classify those found to possess psychic abilities. Most powerful, somehow survive the rigorous sanctuary rituals, are selected to serve on the battlefield. The mind of a sanctioned psychic is steeled against the manifold dangers, risks, Maya wielders of warp powers. You are one of those found worthy to serve humanity and have miraculously survived the perils of a warp. Note, damaging psychic powers count as a weapon attack, counting towards a normal attack limit per turn, gaining all benefits of abilities and talents, increasing the damage of attack, for example a soldier who is in running gun ability. We're able to use damaging psyker powers twice per turn. Napara's analyze enemy ability affects the damage of damaging psyker powers. You get a +5 in toughness, willpower, lore warp, and corrodes. The feature you can choose from is Sanctioned Psyker or Psyker. Sanctioned Psykers have reduced -20% chance to trigger Psychic Phenomenon. And Psyker, character is a Psyker, albeit quite a weak one. Phenomenon. Time a Psyker uses their psychic powers to veil between real space and the warp degrade can trigger Psychic Phenomenon. Psychic phenomenons are more disconcerting than dangerous, intruding into the thoughts of people around the Psyker or causing omens and visions. Psychic Phenomenon reduces the momentum of the party, distracting them from combat, lowering their morale, or just causing bad luck. Psychics can be sanctioned or unsanctioned. Chances that sanctioned psychic we call psychic phenomenon are half, while unsanctioned psychics instead have increased chance and +1 to a psi rating. Each level of a psi rating gives the psychic access to new psychic powers and also intensifies damaging psychic powers. Cool. Next tab is Triumphs, and you have 3 to choose from, which are Apex of Brilliance, Illustrious Glory, and Feats of Greatness. For your strong presence and persuasive stops a feudal war between neighboring systems. Illustrious Brilliance gives you a +5 in persuasion. Second one is Illustrious Glory. You are named planetary governor and survives, having made useful connections on both sides of the lore. Gives you a +5 in commerce. The last one of the 3 is Feat of Greatness. You had a rival noble house reputation destroyed and Pembroke exiled from the sector. It guarantees you a +5 in corrosion. This is the last one of the Origin tabs, and it corresponds with the Triumph tab. We have 3 just like the last tab, and those 3 are Grim, Portent, Brand of Shame, and Shadow of Torment. Importance. A mysterious tome that was discovered in your family library extracted a terrible toll in your mind. Your importance subtracts -5 to your lore warp. Burden of Shame. You are a bastard, illegitimate member of a family. He turned this back on you. Burden of Shame subtracts 5 from lore Imperium. Shadow of Torment. Kidnapped for ransom, your captors mistreated you upon the moment you were released. Shadow of Torment subtracts 5 from Perose. Now the actually fun part, which is the archetypes, which is your actual class. Rogue Traders have a very interesting look on class systems because you have 2 archetypes to play from that will change the way you play throughout the game. It means once you get to level 16, you'll be able to choose a second archetype. So the archetypes you can currently try out are Warrior, Officer, Operator, Soldier, and new DLC class, Blade Dancer. Warriors are combatants, boasting exceptional melee powers, capable of dealing high damage in close quarter combat, withstanding heavy amounts of damage. They also excel at drawing enemies' attention from less defended allies. Core focus, melee, movement, and dodge, armor and parry, taunt, soaking damage. Orcs excel if you plan to play a tank, and since you get an ability to close distance with charge, and an ability to get tankier with Endure. Officer. Officers use their willpower and fellowship to improve the combat capabilities of their allies, turn them into greater threats on the battlefield. Core focus, extra turns, single buff targets, rescuing allies, momentum. Officer is your backline buffing character, has a great ability to bring it down that allows the character to go again. They also get voice command that can give all of your buffs to a character. Officer forces an ally to fully push themselves, increasing their characteristics by plus 10, plus Officer's fellowship bonus for 1 round. Additionally, all of the Officer's abilities can be applied to a target of voice command from any distance. A character who becomes a voice command cannot be targeted by this ability again for the next 2 rounds. Next we have Operative. An operative uses intelligence and perception to find and exploit weaknesses in enemy defenses. Then can withstand attack from an operative. Core focus, precise single attack, fence penetration, area debuffs, and consistent firing position. An operative, which is great at debuffing characters, would analyze enemies and expose weakness. Last of the base archetype, Soldier. A soldier is the master of all ranged weapons, quickly able to assume an advantageous position for where they stand ready to rain fire on the enemy. While well trained in a highly diverse range of arms, it is particularly persistent at blasting at targets with burst fire and area weapons. Core focus, movement, and range attacks, cover and dodge, burst fire, area attacks. Last of the base archetypes is Soldier, which is great with characters that like to make range attacks. This will get run and gun, and also revel and slaughter. Blade Dancer. Blade Dancers are swift and deadly masters of the sword, specializing in delivering flurries or rapid strikes, with a sacrifice of part of their health to enhance their close combat capabilities. Blade Dancers prefer to avoid enemy attacks either by parrying, dodging, or quickly repositioning before enemies counterattacks. You can have the ability to parry ranged attacks. Core focus, melee, swords, movement, dodge, parry. We have the DLC class that I really enjoyed with Blade Dancer that gives us Blade Dance that from above. Also, you probably realize that once we hover over an archetype, they are linked to certain archetypes in the second row. We are kind of locked out of certain archetypes once we select that first one. You agree with the final 3 tabs, which are characteristic, voice chips, and results. Characteristics is where you add points in the different characteristics in the game. You'll be able to grow them more as you play the game, so don't worry about one being too low. Voice chip being where you name and forget to pilot through the expanse. And we have result, which shows all of your choices that gives you an overview of everything. There's a lot of different ways to go about the characterization, which is amazing. Currently 137 hours into Rogue Trader. I have no idea if I'm close to beating the game. It does feel like I may be getting close to it, but I also feel like that is a false ending that the game is trying to lead me towards. The video was just to explain what I felt about the game, and became this whole thing of going through character creation, but that is fine. I like the game a lot. No, it could be more of a challenge, but if I do die, it's a learning experience. So I'm going to give a brief overview of my experience. Most likely going to do an actual full deep dive on how I like the game, what the game presents in the current video once I beat the game. Because this is just basically just turned into a character creation video and what you have to look forward to. But the main point is that this game is very special. And the reason why I say this, because like I said, this is the first time I played a game like this. Because it makes you think, because again, I've never played a game like this. The only game that came close is like a Mass Effect game, where you are piloting it through the different systems, right? It's not even a bad thing, but the interesting thing is, right? Because you're piloting through the systems, you're taking time to pilot through every system. So you're going through the expanse, essentially. Like, that's the whole point. You're not just situated in one place. You're going through the expanse. Like I said, that's why I said, like a Mass Effect, where you're going through every different system. Your ship is basically your home. So the thing is, because of that, you need to get to certain points, right? Meaning, if you're in already like a system, you're fine. It's not going to take up much time because again, you're in a system. The only thing is when you have to warp to other different systems. That's the reason, because unless it's safe, again, safe. So there's unsafe, there's dangerous, there's different type of ways to go about this expanse, right? You can go unsafe and you're still fine, but then again, your crew may die, you may get in a fight, something may happen. Like, there's all these different things that can boil down and make you're not going through safe, or you don't have like an actual war point. You might get fucked in a mission because you might be too late for a certain thing. Again, I've looked it up. A lot of times there's flavor text, but also you may miss out on something because you didn't decide to do one thing over the other thing. But also, play the game how you want to play it. Like, don't play the game thinking, Oh fuck, I'm missing everything. Explore everything you possibly can. Do everything you want to do in this game, because again, like I said, this game has a lot of replayability. Just do everything you possibly can, and be like, okay, fuck, I missed it out. I'll do it in the next playthrough. Don't just go back and resave shit, like unsave and just do it, see what happens. Don't do that. That takes up too much time. Just play the game, have fun, and that's really all I have to say. Anyway, if you see this game on sale, would definitely say to get it and try it out if you like TRPGs. My name is Only Incubus, and that is my time. Later days. Love you all. Bye bye. Bye.